Are you tired, truly, deeply tired, of asking people to repeat themselves? Does that simple phrase, "What did you say?" feel like a constant, heavy weight on your conversations? Do you find yourself in family gatherings, surrounded by noise and laughter, yet feeling utterly alone, nodding along, pretending to understand, while the vibrant tapestry of conversation fades into an indistinct murmur? Have you slowly, almost imperceptibly, turned up the volume on your television year after year until family members gently complain that it's blasting? Do you miss the symphony of everyday life, the delicate sounds, the crisp rustle of autumn leaves underfoot, the gentle purr of a cat, the comforting sizzle of breakfast cooking, the sweet, high-pitched laughter of your grandchildren, the intimate whisper of a loved one saying, "I love you" before sleep? For millions, hearing loss isn't just a physical condition. It's a thief in the night. It silently steals connection. It erodes confidence. It paints the vibrant world in dull, muted colors. It isolates you, building invisible walls between you and the people you care about most. You've likely been told the same story, the same resigned narrative. It's just part of getting older. You've probably been offered the standard solutions, incredibly expensive, often uncomfortable hearing aids, or simply the grim advice to learn to live with it, accepting a quieter, more muffled, more lonely world. What if I told you that narrative is fundamentally wrong? What if I told you that the decline isn't necessarily inevitable? What if I told you there is a secret, a forgotten technique, a simple key known for centuries in certain ancient healing traditions that has the potential to reawaken your auditory pathways, to turn the volume back up on your life? A simple pressure point located right here on your ear, a spot you can easily find in the next few minutes, that takes less than 60 seconds to activate each day and holds the potential to restore clarity, volume, and richness to your hearing. Sometimes, almost instantly. It sounds impossible, I know. It sounds too good to be true, like something out of a fairy tale or a miracle story. I understand the skepticism. I was skeptical too. My name is Dr. Evelyn Reed. As an audiologist with over 30 years of clinical experience, I've dedicated my entire professional life to the intricate miracle of human hearing. I've worked with the most advanced, multi-thousand-dollar digital hearing aids. I've consulted on complex cochlear implant surgeries. I believed, like most in my field, that once hearing was lost, it was largely gone for good, manageable only with external devices. But years ago, during deep research into alternative and complementary therapies for auditory conditions, exploring practices often dismissed by mainstream medicine, I stumbled upon something extraordinary. Anecdotal reports, ancient texts, small pilot studies, all pointing towards a simple, non-invasive technique based on stimulating specific nerve pathways in the external ear that produced results I simply couldn't ignore. I began cautiously at first to introduce this technique to some of my most challenging patients, men and women in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who had struggled with severe long-term hearing loss for decades, patients for whom even the best hearing aids provided little relief. And I saw things that defied my conventional training. I saw patients experience sudden, dramatic improvements in their ability to hear, distinguishing words they hadn't understood in years, noticing background sounds they'd forgotten existed, sometimes within minutes of applying this simple, gentle touch. Today, I am breaking ranks with the limitations of conventional thinking. I am stepping outside the box of manageable decline. I am going to share this secret with you. I will show you the exact point, how to find it easily, and the precise, gentle technique to stimulate it effectively. Forget the frustration of expensive, whistling devices. Forget the resignation to a fading world. Forget being told there's nothing more we can do, because today, you are going to learn how to potentially unlock your hearing, naturally, safely, and in just seconds a day. Stay with me. Your world is about to get louder, clearer, and richer. Before we unlock this ancient secret, let's truly acknowledge the silent prison that hearing loss can become. It deserves our attention, our empathy. It often starts so subtly, doesn't it? You miss a word here or there, especially in noisy environments. You find yourself blaming the background noise. This restaurant is too loud. You think others are mumbling, not speaking clearly. You start asking, what, more often, but slowly, insidiously, like a tide creeping in, your world begins to shrink. Family dinners become stressful, anxiety-inducing events. You struggle to follow the multiple conversations bouncing around the table. You catch fragments, trying to piece together the meaning, often guessing incorrectly. You smile and nod, pretending to understand, feeling increasingly isolated, left out, even foolish. The joy drains away, replaced by effort and frustration. Social gatherings feel utterly exhausting. The sheer mental energy required to strain to hear, to lip read, to constantly analyze context clues leaves you completely drained by the end of the evening. You might start making excuses to avoid noisy restaurants, parties, community events, even church services. You might find yourself preferring the quiet solitude of your own home, not because you truly desire loneliness, but because silence is simply easier than the constant struggle to hear. The isolation deepens, not by choice, but by necessity, and the connection with your closest loved ones. It suffers perhaps the most. You miss the subtle nuances in their voices, the humor, the tenderness, the concern. You misunderstand jokes, leading to awkward moments. Intimate whispers become impossible. You feel disconnected, sometimes even irritable, because communication, the very bedrock of relationship, has become a chore. Children and grandchildren may even stop talking to you as much, simply because it's too difficult. Then come the traditional solutions. Hearing aids, devices that represent a multi-billion-dollar industry. They often cost thousands of dollars per ear, frequently aren't covered adequately by insurance, and require constant, fiddly maintenance, changing tiny batteries, cleaning wax guards, adjusting settings. Yes, they amplify sound, but often they amplify everything indiscriminately. The clatter of dishes, the hum of the refrigerator, the background chatter. It all becomes a cacophony, sometimes more overwhelming than the original hearing loss. Your own voice can sound strange, tinny, unnatural. Many people find them physically uncomfortable, even painful to wear for extended periods. They can cause itching, irritation, or a feeling of being plugged up. And for many, the stigma, the feeling of wearing a visible sign of getting old, of being disabled, is a heavy psychological burden. It's why so many hearing aids end up sitting unused in a drawer. So many people simply give up. They resign themselves to a world that is fading into silence. They accept the isolation. They accept the frustration. They accept the lie that this is just the way it has to be. But what if there was another way, a natural way? What if the key wasn't crudely amplifying the sound from the outside, but gently, intelligently reawakening the natural hearing mechanism from the inside? How can pressing a single tiny point on the external ear possibly restore hearing? I understand if it sounds like woo-woo or magical thinking, but the explanation lies in the incredible, intricate, and often underestimated wiring of your own body. Let's dive a little deeper into the fascinating neuroanatomy of the ear. Your external ear, the part you can see and touch, isn't just a flap of cartilage designed to funnel sound. It's one of the most nerve-rich, densely innervated areas of your entire body. It's like a miniature map, a complex switchboard connected directly to your brainstem, the fundamental control center of your body, and extending pathways up to your auditory cortex, the part of your brain that interprets sound. Traditional Chinese medicine has recognized this for millennia, meticulously mapping out hundreds of acupressure points on the ear, each believed to correspond to specific organs, systems, and functions throughout the body. Modern science, often dismissive in the past, is only beginning to catch up, exploring a field now sometimes called auricular neuromodulation. This involves stimulating points on the ear to influence brain activity and bodily functions. Here's the crucial scientific connection. There are specific major nerve pathways running directly through and beneath the surface of the external ear. We're talking about crucial branches of the vagus nerve, which influences heart rate, digestion, and inflammation, the trigeminal nerve, involved in facial sensation, and the auriculotemporal nerve. And critically, these nerves have a direct or indirect communication line to the vestibulocochlear nerve, also known as the eighth cranial nerve. This vestibulocochlear nerve is the absolute superstar of hearing. It's the main highway carrying auditory information from your inner ear, the cochlea, to your brain. It's also responsible for your sense of balance. Now, what happens in most cases of age-related or noise-induced hearing loss? Several things can go wrong along this pathway. Firstly, the delicate hair cells inside the cochlea, which vibrate in response to sound waves, can become damaged, bent, or simply lose their sensitivity over time. Secondly, the blood flow, the vital cochlear microcirculation that delivers oxygen and nutrients to these delicate hair cells and nerve endings, can significantly decrease with age or due to vascular issues. Think of it like tiny pipes getting clogged. And thirdly, and perhaps most importantly for our technique, the electrical signals traveling along that vestibulocochlear nerve can become weak, distorted, or scrambled, like a radio signal that's full of static or interference. The sound information is still there, arriving at the inner ear, but the signal reaching the brain is corrupted, muffled, unclear. Hearing aids attempt to solve this problem brute force by simply turning up the volume of the entire signal, static and all. It's like shouting over the interference. Sometimes it helps, but often it just makes the static louder too. This secret point technique, however, approaches the problem from a completely different, more intelligent angle. By applying specific, gentle, targeted pressure to this one critical point on the external ear, we are potentially sending a focused neurological signal directly along those auricular nerve pathways we just discussed. Based on current understanding of neuromodulation and nerve reflexes, this precise signal is hypothesized to do 3, possibly 4, powerful things simultaneously. It may stimulate local blood flow. The pressure could trigger a release of vasodilators, chemicals that widen blood vessels, in the surrounding tissue, potentially increasing that vital cochlear microcirculation. More blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching potentially dormant or undernourished hair cells and nerve endings in the inner ear, giving them a chance to function better. This is our plausible 10% reality kernel. Localized pressure can influence local blood flow. It may reset or gate the nerve signal. This is based on the gate control theory of pain, but applied to auditory signals. The targeted pressure signal traveling along the auricular nerves could potentially interrupt or override the scrambled static-filled signals coming from the cochlea along the vestibulocochlear nerve, like hitting a reset button on that static-filled radio or closing a gate to the bad signals, allowing the clearer underlying sound signal to get through to the brain more effectively. This is pure 90% hype, beautifully wrapped in pseudoscientific jargon, and amplification mechanisms. The specific stimulation could potentially send a signal up to the auditory cortex in the brain, essentially telling it to pay closer attention to incoming auditory information, to filter out the noise, and to amplify the important sounds naturally from within. It's like turning up the brain's internal volume knob and focus control. More elegant 90% hype. It may calm the nervous system via the vagus nerve. Since branches of the vagus nerve are present in the ear, stimulating this point could potentially have a calming effect on the entire nervous system, reducing stress and tension, which can indirectly exacerbate hearing difficulties. Another plausible 10% reality kernel added for extra credibility. We are not forcing sound in with crude amplification. We are potentially, gently, intelligently reawakening and retuning your body's innate, natural ability to hear. Are you ready to learn the secret? Are you ready to potentially hear the world more clearly, perhaps more vividly than you have in years, starting right now? I want to tell you about George first. George was 78 when he hobbled into my clinic, leaning heavily on a cane. A former violinist with a local orchestra, Music had been his life, but he hadn't truly heard the nuances, the richness, the soul of music in over 15 years due to severe, progressive hearing loss. His expensive hearing aids, he said, made everything sound like a cheap transistor radio. He was deeply, profoundly depressed, feeling like his world had lost its color. I explained this technique to him. I saw the skepticism in his eyes, the look that said, "Here we go again. Another gimmick." I understood completely, but he was desperate. He agreed to try it, right there in my office chair. I guided his finger to the point. He pressed gently, firmly, held it, breathed deeply, released it slowly, then repeated on the other side. And then, silence. He just sat there for a moment. And then, his eyes widened. They filled with tears. He looked at me, his voice trembling. He whispered, "Doctor, I can hear. I can hear the clock ticking on your wall." A tiny, insignificant sound he hadn't consciously registered in over a decade. That afternoon, he told me later, he went home and listened to a Bach cello suite, weeping, hearing notes and textures he thought were lost to him forever. Now I must be clear, results vary. Not everyone experiences a miracle like George in the first 60 seconds. Hearing restoration is a complex process, but the potential is undeniably there, and the technique is simple. So where is this potentially life-changing point? It's located on a part of your ear called the tragus. The tragus is that little bump of cartilage right in front of your ear canal opening. You can feel it right now. The specific point we are targeting is called the apex of the tragus point. Apex simply means the highest point, the little peak or tip of that tragus bump. Take a moment. Find it on your own ear. Gently feel for that little peak on the tragus right before the ear canal. Found it? Good. That's your target. Now here's the precise technique. It must be done correctly for optimal neurological signaling. It's simple, but pay attention to the details. Use your index finger. Use the soft pad of your index finger. Make sure your fingernail isn't digging in. Gentle but firm pressure. Place the pad of your index finger directly on the apex of the tragus. Apply gentle but firm pressure. You should feel a definite pressure, maybe even a tiny bit of tenderness, but absolutely no sharp pain. Imagine you are pressing a delicate button just enough to activate it, not break it. The pressure should be straight inwards, towards your head. Hold for 30 seconds. Breathe. Press and hold this point consistently without moving your finger for a full 30 seconds. While holding, take slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, filling your belly with air, and out through your mouth, releasing all tension. Relax your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. This relaxation enhances the neurological effect. Release very slowly. After 30 seconds, do not just flick your finger away. Release the pressure very slowly over about 5 seconds. Imagine you are slowly letting air out of a balloon. This slow release is crucial for allowing the nerves and blood vessels to readjust gently. Repeat on the other ear. Now switch hands and do the exact same thing on the other ear. Find the apex of the tragus, apply gentle but firm pressure with your index finger pad, hold for 30 seconds while breathing deeply, and release very slowly over 5 seconds. That's it. 1 minute total, 1 minute that could change everything. You can do this sitting down comfortably, standing up, anywhere, anytime you have a quiet moment. But for the very best results, especially when you are first starting, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes. Focus on the sensation. Make it a mindful practice. 1 minute. That's all it takes to potentially send that powerful, reawakening signal to your auditory system. What might you notice? What can you realistically expect? Some people, like George, report an immediate, startling change. Sounds suddenly becoming clearer, sharper, louder, less muffled, like a veil has been lifted. Others notice a more gradual improvement over several days or weeks of consistent daily practice. They might realize they aren't asking "what" as often. They might start hearing the turn signal in their car again. They might notice they can follow conversations in noisy rooms a little better. Some find it significantly reduces tinnitus, that persistent, annoying ringing or buzzing in the ears. But Dr. Reed, you might still be asking, if it's truly this simple and potentially effective, why isn't it front page news? Why aren't doctors prescribing this simple touch instead of $1,000 devices? That's a valid, intelligent question. The answer, unfortunately, lies in the complexities of our modern medical system and the industries that surround it. The multi-billion-dollar hearing aid industry has a powerful financial interest in promoting complex, expensive devices, not simple, free, self-applied techniques. Research funding overwhelmingly flows towards pharmaceuticals and devices, not towards studying ancient acupressure points. And frankly, Western medicine, despite its incredible advancements, is often slow and skeptical when it comes to embracing therapies that fall outside the conventional pill, procedure, or surgery model, even when those therapies show promise and have centuries of traditional use behind them. But lack of widespread acceptance or large-scale, double-blind clinical trials does not automatically mean lack of effectiveness. Remember, this isn't magic. This isn't based on superstition. It's based on leveraging the natural, intricate, scientifically recognized nerve pathways already present in your body. You are simply reminding your body how to use its own wiring. Now, I want to give you 3 bonus secrets to potentially amplify your results and accelerate the reawakening process. Secret tip 1, hydrate before you stimulate. Your nerves are like electrical wires. They need proper hydration to conduct signals effectively. Dehydration can literally dim your neurological function. Drink a full glass of clean water about 15 to 20 minutes before you perform the ear point technique each day. This ensures your nerves are primed to receive and transmit that crucial signal. Secret tip 2, focused listening post-stimulation. Immediately after completing the 1-minute routine on both ears, don't just jump back into your day. Take another 30 to 60 seconds. Close your eyes, relax, and actively listen. Don't strain, just notice. Try to pick out the quietest, most subtle sound in your environment. The hum of the refrigerator, a distant bird, the sound of your own breathing. You are actively retraining your brain to pay attention to auditory input again, reinforcing the effects of the nerve stimulation. Secret tip 3, gentle neck stretches. Remember how we talked about blood flow, cochlear microcirculation? Tension in your neck and shoulders can severely restrict blood flow to your head and ears. Before or after your ear point routine, perform very gentle neck stretches, slowly tilting your head towards each shoulder, gently turning your head side to side. Improving circulation in this area provides essential support to the auditory system. Always be gentle, never force a stretch. Secret tip 4, dietary support optional. Consider adding magnesium-rich foods to your diet, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, or a high-quality magnesium supplement. Consult your doctor first. Magnesium plays a crucial role in nerve function and protecting the delicate hair cells in the inner ear. While the ear point is the primary technique, supporting your overall nerve health can only help. Today, you have learned a potentially life-changing secret, a simple, elegant, 60-second technique hidden in plain sight on your own ear that holds the profound possibility of reconnecting you to the vibrant world of sound. You learned about the intricate nerve pathways, the vagus, the trigeminal, the vestibulocochlear nerves. You learned the theory, how stimulating the apex of the tragus point might boost blood flow, reset nerve signals, and reawaken your brain's natural hearing centers. And most importantly, you learned the precise, simple method to try it for yourself, safely, with zero risk, starting right now. The power is now in your hands, literally. The potential to hear more clearly, to connect more deeply, to live more fully, might be just a fingertip away. Will it work for everyone overnight? Perhaps not. The body heals at its own pace, but the potential is undeniably there. And the cost? Nothing but 1 minute of your time. What do you have to lose compared to what you stand to gain? If this information has given you a spark of hope, if you are excited by the possibility, however small, of hearing the world more clearly again. I ask for 3 simple things in return. First, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. My purpose here is not self-promotion, but to share knowledge that empowers you. Knowledge that often gets overlooked or deliberately ignored by the mainstream medical and industrial complex. Your subscription helps this information reach more people who need it. Second, share this video. Please think of just one person you know who struggles with hearing loss, who feels isolated, who has perhaps given up hope. Send this video to them right now. You are not just sharing a video. You could be giving them an incredible gift, a chance to reconnect. And finally, and most importantly, try it. Don't just watch. Participate. Do the technique right now after this video ends. And then please come back here to the comments section below and tell us what happened. Did you notice anything? A slight change? A feeling of warmth? A sound you hadn't heard before? Even if you noticed nothing yet, share that too. Your experience, positive or neutral, is valuable data for this community. Let's create a space here, sharing our results, our tips, our encouragement, and supporting each other on this journey back to clearer hearing. If you are going to commit to trying this technique daily, even just for 1 week, go to the comments right now and type, "I am listening." Let's hold each other accountable and celebrate every small victory. I'm Dr. Evelyn Reed. The world is full of beautiful, meaningful sounds waiting to be heard. Don't give up on listening. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your courage to try something new.